Hi, my name is Deborah Kunish. I'm the creator of the Reflections on the Dance website, which you may or may not have heard of. I invite you to listen to something that I feel is important and eye-opening. Once again, recently, so many stories have come out about Michael Jackson. And with today being the 7-year anniversary of his passing, I feel it is important to share with you everything that I feel is eye-opening and something that I think a lot of people don't think about. A perspective on Michael Jackson that I feel may be something you have never thought about before, or in a way that you never thought about before. You've undoubtedly seen a lot, mostly, especially recently, about Michael Jackson in programs that have aired and news that has come out once again. The problem with what you are seeing on these shows and in the media is that there is a tendency to try to make Michael look like someone who self-destructed at the hands of self-imposed drug addiction and plastic surgery. But is this true? Are you ready to look at what really happened? Let's take a quick look at the facts, for instance. First being the Pepsi commercial, which caused a severe scalp burn for Michael. This was probably one of the first downfalls for him outside of how his growing up years had been that he spoke about himself. And this scalp burn caused extensive damage on his scalp. There were surgeries that were performed afterwards with a scalp expander that was placed underneath the skin of the scalp to expand the area that had been burned. It's a technique that is used, that's described more, which I'll go into later in a few minutes. Basically, it's a treatment for a burn like this, where they expand the scalp and then also cut away areas that are damaged. And this is very painful. It's a very, very painful thing to have to go through. And not only the burn, but the scalp expanders. And also, Michael had lupus, and lupus affects the skin. And so that was another complication. And so this became this became a time when someone who was so against drugs of any kind became dependent on prescription painkillers. And what we have to understand here is that that is the nature of the drug. These type of drugs, narcotics and different kinds of painkillers, are addicting, especially if taken over a long period of time. And it's not the fault of the person taking them, it's the nature of the drug. And it would happen to anyone. I personally had a family member who would take nothing other than, wouldn't even really want to take aspirin when he had a headache. And he had to take very strong painkillers for a condition that he developed. And he became addicted to those painkillers. And he was someone who did not have an addictive personality at all. So that's something, to keep in perspective. Another thing to think about is, a lot of times Michael's appearance is criticized as being evidence of somehow that he was not normal, or something was wrong with him. And what I want you to note is that most of the bigger appearance changes came after not only the Pepsi burn, but especially after the accusations that came against him. The first accusations, and then especially the second. And what I want you to think about here is, imagine being accused of something that is the most horrific thing, that is so against everything that you personally stand for. And it's not true, but the whole world believes it. Wouldn't you want to become someone else? Wouldn't you want to escape? you can't feel the pressures crashing in on you from all sides, and having the world believe you are depraved and keep going along healthy and happy. It's just not possible. It's impossible. And I think that as you try to put yourself in that position, you might be able to understand it a little bit more. And that's my purpose here, is to bring some understanding. Add to this the fact that MJ was a highly sensitive person. He was a creative genius, someone who had worked since he was a young child, a very young child. And most importantly, someone who not only cried at the suffering of hurting and sick children, but could feel tangibly, feel the depth of their pain himself, having suffered so much himself as a child. He understood, he felt their pain, and now he was being accused of causing them pain in the deepest way. This pain, the physical pain of the scalp burn, and the rumors, and also performance injuries, it got to the point where it completely engulfed him. It was soul destroying pain. The soul destroying pain of being accused of heinous crimes that he didn't commit, yet the world believed that he did. And so when you have someone who is, has this is completely engulfing soul destroying pain of being accused of heinous crimes you didn't commit, yet the world believed you did, you have a recipe for disaster. There's just no way around it. It's not caused by the person themselves. It is brought on by external circumstances. Then, you add to that the Pepsi accident. So you've got physical pain, you've got real physical pain. The bridge collapse in Munich, I believe. And that was something that, some of the people that saw it happen didn't even think he would survive. And it seriously injured his back in that accident. So again, severe pain. And then you had the calculated lies by those intent on taking advantage for money, with an agenda that was pushed by a rabid media, hungry for a story, which equaled ratings, and ratings equals money. And that's what it comes down to. This was an outside job, not an inside implosion. I think that is really something very important for people to realize and to think about, because the media spins the web to make you believe that Michael Jackson imploded, that his own destructive choices caused what happened to him, or what you saw happen to him. This is not true, and this is why I want you to think about this and to dwell on what I'm sharing. And there's a reason for it. It's not just Michael Jackson. It also has to do with human beings as a society, how we treat one another, and so give that some thought. The pressure put on a child to carry the weight of the world, to be responsible, to have a workload that an adult would have, just as a small child, and then the exploitation of child genius and prodigy by a world that wanted to extrude that talent, no matter the cost to the young soul. How could it have turned out any differently? Really, ask yourself, how could it have turned out any differently? We can't own and exploit talent. We can't take the soul for granted due to our own selfish desire to experience the gifts given, and wanting and demanding more constantly. Michael Jackson was not self-destructive. I want you to really think about that. because, that is something that's really important to think about, because the media would have you believe that he is self-destructive and that he brought this all on himself. Basically, he was medicating the hole in his soul. That's how I look at it. A hole that we, as society created, really. A hole that a jealous world who just wanted to take and not give. A world that wanted to destroy an innocent soul because he reminded us of the things that are most important, that we didn't want to face. He was looking to escape indescribable pain brought on by a world that didn't understand his genius nor his pure heart. I mean, that's really what we're seeing. So this is what I ask of you. Let's stop focusing on a nose or changes in a face or allegations proven false with absolutely zero evidence found. And keep in mind that, as Attorney Tom Mesereau stated, Michael became a target because of his money and his fame. So people that wanted something from him, people that wanted money, he became a target. And that's exactly what you saw happen. Let's stop pushing an agenda to show a depraved, damaged man who destroyed himself with drugs. And let's look at the deeper issues. Let's look at the truth. The families involved lied, that's been proven. And it's also been proven that these were extortion attempts. One of many that he experienced throughout his life. His friend David Nordahl, a good friend of his, spoke on how he would get between 40 to 50 extortion attempts a year, which also landed him in court many times having to fight these. That's exhausting. Think about it. Think about how exhausting that is, how exhausting that would be to constantly have to fight against lies. And that's just the extortion attempts, and that doesn't include the lies of the media and the lies that the media caused the public to believe. Let's learn from the life of Michael Jackson. Let's learn from our own mistakes. Let's admit our own mistakes. We were wrong in judging a man that we didn't have the facts on. Let's have compassion and peel back the layers of lies for money so we can see the beautiful soul behind the media plastered mask. Let's stop listening to the lies and take time to learn the truth. And that's why I'm here to share this message with you today on the 7th anniversary of Michael Jackson's passing. Learn the truth. This is why Reflections on the Dance exists. You can find this information at reflectionsonthedance.com. This site is solely supported by donations because it does cost money to keep the site online. But it is not there is no income made from this site, and it never has been and never will be. This site was done from a desire to share truth, to make sure that the world knew the truth, to make people think, and to allow people to see who this man really was. And that's what I ask you to do today. It's been 7 years since Michael Jackson passed away on this day. And I ask you to go and spend some time on reflectionsonthedance.com and learn the truth if you haven't already. If you have and you enjoy the site, then I ask that if you are able to, if you are able to, that you can donate towards the hosting and bandwidth fees for the website to keep the truth circulating, because it's important. To keep that truth circulating would be $1 a person for only 1,300 people that use the site. $1 a year. If 1,300 people donated $1 a year, the site would remain online, and it wouldn't be it wouldn't take much from any one individual person. If you do believe in the mission of Reflections on the Dance, I also ask that you share this message and that you share the site and let people know about it. It's been out there for 7 years. It went live September 13th of 2009. The site itself took about 3.5 months of intense research and work, pretty much 24/7. I did everything on the site myself. I created the site, I did the research, I did the interviews. Of course, there is information on the site gleaned from other sources, which are duly noted. And I sincerely thank all of the people who did all of the research that came before me. I appreciate you, and it was very helpful to have that information out there, to be able to find the truth amidst so much of the lies and the garbage that's out there. There is a lot of garbage out there. I think probably a lot of you have seen it, especially lately, because it's very cleverly timed to come out at the time of the anniversary of his passing. It seems to be done as a constant reminder that somehow he deserved this, that he deserved everything that happened to him, that he self-destructed, it was his own fault, he caused his own death, or that he deserved to suffer. And I want you to know the truth, that that is not the truth. So please take a look at the website, find the truth, find out what kind of person this was. The reason it matters is because the truth always matters. If this was you, if this was a family member of yours, you would want the world to know that what they are hearing and seeing is not true. And it's a battle. It's a constant battle for people that love the man, his fans, but especially his family, his own children. It's a battle for them daily to have to hear and see things so untrue to his character. So please consider them as well. They're suffering a constant loss by his early passing. And as a society, we contributed to that. Did Michael Jackson make decisions that might have contributed in a negative way? Sure. And how can I say that? Because I know that we all do that. We're human. We all make mistakes. We all make decisions that we regret later. Michael Jackson was no different. However, that did not make him a monster. It didn't make him a wacko jacko. It didn't make him crazy. It didn't make him a deviant. It did not make him a destructive person. He was not a manipulative person, which I've seen mentioned quite a few times in recent media. I've spoken to a lot of people who knew the man, and for many, many years, we've had in-depth conversations, stories shared, and I can tell you that what you're hearing is not true. And bad news sells. There's a desire for you to believe negative, especially about someone who is, a worldwide global celebrity, because they know that you will listen to anything that's put out there about him. And then when you tune in or read, in a roundabout way, you are helping them earn money as a publication or as a television show, because their ratings go up, and then they therefore please their advertisers. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind with everything that you hear. Question things. Learn the truth. That's all I'm asking is for you to learn the truth, because this could be anybody. People's reputations are destroyed by lies. And Michael Jackson's reputation and ultimately his life was destroyed by lies. Don't let that continue to happen. Don't be a party to it. Learn, change your ways if that's what you do. If that's what your focus is on, if you regularly read tabloid magazines and spread rumors, judge people by what you hear versus what you know, then take a look at your own actions and make a change today to stop doing that. You're not a bad person for doing it if you weren't aware, but now you're aware. So make a change and take some positive steps. Live a life filled with joy. Focus on the positive. Look to God for answers. And, learn the truth. Like I said, stop focusing on what is being presented to you as, look how bad this guy was, because in doing that, it preys on your human tendency to want to feel superior to other people. If you look at how bad someone appears to be by what you're being shown, then you can feel more powerful in yourself, because it becomes a thing of, well, look at how awful he was. Of course he deserved that. Look at me, I'm not that bad. That's what is being preyed upon. Don't let that happen to you anymore. That's what I'm saying. Don't let it happen. Learn the truth. Change your ways. Go to reflectionsonthedance.com. Support us if you're able. Spread the word. Share it today, and honor Michael in sharing the truth about him, and honor his family, and stop bringing them pain by believing and spreading the lies. Thank you so much today. God bless you, and thank you so much for listening.